RM cards. So let's talk Green Patron. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon another Green Patron. This card is really hard to evaluate. So five mana cards usually is gonna be at least 2/3/3s. That's the minimum requirement for 5-drop. Even that's like most of the 4.5 drops actually. It's like 2 Yetis as 2 Yetis are basically as good as 2/3 drops if you think about it. Wait, no. 2/3/3s are as good as a Yeti in a sense. So for 5-drop, well, 5-drop usually is a 4/6 if you think about it in average. I would say the ones that you would typically use. So you have to summon at least 3 of these guys to make it even, make it completely even, I think. So Whirlwind does not cut with this. You have to go. I don't know, like what cards gives you at least 2 minions with this if you combo. Bouncing Blade does it, but do you want to use a Bouncing Blade with the Green Patron? If you use it on an empty board, it will certainly give you more than. It basically will refill the board, but it's an 8 mana drop, so. And 2 mana, 2 card combos. So it's like the Dude Master combo, right? With the. It's like the Dude Master combo for Warriors, if you look at it, but a little bit worse. Potentially worse. Potentially better. Because you can always combo this card with such cards such as Taskmaster or Deathbite or other cards. And 5 drops for Warrior, I would say it's pretty filled already. So I don't actually see this card being that useful without going over other cards entirely. Yeah, without going over what potential out there. Like maybe you haven't seen it used too much, Green Patron. This card doesn't seem good enough to me. Like only good use is the Bouncing Blades in my. Well, like actually, you know what? There's a possibility you can combo it with the Whirlwind and well, Taskmaster and Whirlwind or Deathbite. Then this is gonna be, because it's gonna summon at least 2 other minions, 2 Green Patron. So it's gonna be 3/1, 3/2, and 3/3/3/3 for. That could be useful actually. That could be quite bursty. A lot of the 5 drops or 6 drops right now for the Warriors are relatively defensive cards, and this is one of the aggro cards. So maybe if a mid-range Warrior became a thing, I think I can definitely see this kind of working out. But it's too combo based, I think. Alright, next card is a Gang Up. Choose a minion, shuffle 3 copies of it into your deck. This card actually looks awesome. Like, amazing. Wait, is this rogue specific card, I think? Choose a minion, shuffle 3 copies of it into your deck. For 2 mana, this does look awesome, especially with combo-ish rogue deck right now. You can either use this as a defensive measure or an aggro measure. Yeah, you can use it either because you can choose for a minion from opponent's side as well. This is a very flexible card, but you need draw cards. You need a lot of draw cards, and right now the mid-range rogue deck do work. Yeah, they draw so many cards these days. So with the double sprints, double prep, I think this card can be really amazing. I don't know what to say otherwise. It's like dot steal, but then you can dot steal your own cards for 2 mana only, and it's a single target, 3 copies. Although you don't get it right now. You don't get them right now. Oh my god. 3 Dr. Booms. Imagine that. Holy crap. And 3 Ragnarosses against control decks. So it's like the anti-control deck. Control card that you can ever imagine. Resurrect. Summon a random friendly minion that died this game. Oof. I don't even know where to begin with this. It's a priest card, so I don't know if it brings as a full health or not, because if you use this on Injured Blade Master, it comes back as full health. This card looks awesome, actually. Just yeah, as like you will need to, you probably not use a zombie charm with it, but it summons right off, so you can even combo it with the Northshire Cleric. I like this VRM, the theme of VRM, how bursty these cards are, or how awesome OP can be, but it's not so early on OP, it's more like the late game OP. But my concern is that it could bring your Boombots instead of Dr. Boom. Oh my god. So this card is gonna be amazing with Death Rattle Priest deck that used to be really popular before GVG, or even during GVG. I guess you'll have to worry about getting Zombie Chow out, but then if you have two of them, and yeah, I can definitely see this working. So Druid of Flame, choose one, transform into 5/2 minion or 2/5 minion. What? What? Wait. What? Wait. With the exception of the silence possibility or weakness, this card is amazing, I think. 2/5 for 3 mana, I would say it's one of the better ones out there, definitely. Yeah, Harvest Golem is like 2/4, and this guy is 2/5. And in emergency, it can be used as 5/2 as well. Yeah, this card is really flexible and really good, I think. Unless you go against other Druids, then I don't know if this card is so good. Yeah, even against other Druid, it's very flexible cards. You go aggro, you put 5/2 in. You go defensive, you put 2/5 in. 2/5 is healthy and beefy enough that you probably don't want to use removals on 2/5. You want to hit them and kill it. But then, do you really want to use Deathbite on 2/5? Do you want to use like 5 damage on 2 attack minion? And it's gonna be really good with the combo. It's like Harvest Golem, but then stronger early game, the weaker late game. I will have to compare this with the Shades of Naxxramas. This card comes into it's better against aggro decks, obviously, and potentially better against controls because 5/2. Shades. Yeah, compared to Shades, this card is better early game, and better late game, but then better early game against aggro. Not better early game against control, because you're just gonna have 5/5 shades minimum. Against the Warriors, I would say this is definitely a worse card, though. But then you're so favored in the Warrior matchup. It depends on how you build a deck. So yeah, it's definitely one of the key cards I think to look up. Next card is Blackwing Technician. Battle Cry if you're holding a dragon, gain +1/+1. I think it's a neutral card, yes, Blackwing Technician. So let's think about... Nah, I'll go over all the dragon cards at the end, I guess. If you're holding dragon, getting +1/+1. 3 mana, 2/4 is not the best thing in the world right now. But 3/5 for 3 mana is amazing. So... if you can... like, there's gotta be mid-range Handlock deck or mid-range Warlock deck. Handlock is control, so yeah, mid-range Warlock deck that can utilize this with the Twilight Drakes and Naxxramas maybe, and other dragons out there, like Hungry Dragon's gonna be awesome with this. So there you have at least 5-6 dragons that can utilize. Fairy Dragon I don't see too much being used, especially in a card with a card like this. But yeah, 3/5 for 3 mana is one of the best that out there. We thought 3/4 was amazing, and 3/5, But honestly, like, is there enough dragon cards out there? I'll have to see what decks come out with this too, before I say anything. Like, first thing comes up to my mind is mid-range Warlock. That can be potentially possible with the Twilight Drakes, or maybe Mage as well. But there are not that many classes at the moment with the current meta that goes too well with the dragons. Alright, next card is Imp Gang Boss. So whenever this minion takes damage, summon 1/1 Imp. 3 mana, 2/5. So it's a guaranteed 2/4 and 1/1. But it only has 4 health, it dies so easily. Oof. 2-4 and 1-1, or in average out. Yeah, in average it's gonna be 3-5 if you're generous, and because 2-4 and 1-1 is definitely worse than 1-1 and 2-4. So in average outside, this card is 3-4-ish. It's gonna be weak against aggro. This card is way too weak versus aggro. But then against control, I can think of it's a demon. Is there any Warlock cards that does like 1 or 2 AoE damage? Dread Infernal, I guess. Because Dread Infernal appears, Imp Gang Boss. Imp does not get it summoned until it takes a damage, so that in 1-1 survives Dread Infernal. And Green Patron can also work with that. But that's the only thing I can think of. It also survives Hellfire, I guess. But then 2-1 and 1-1. I can only say that's like the anti-warrior deck, actually. But then the warriors do have Deathbite. Yeah, the warriors don't have a good 4 damage source except for Deathbite at the moment. Obviously, there are cards like Belter does 3 damage, so it's okay with that. But then against a Belter, do you really want 2-4 and 1-1? Probably not. I'll have to see like if there's more demon synergy in it, but I can't really think of a demon synergy at the moment except for Mal'Ganis. But then Mal'Ganis is really a late game card and it's a unique card, so Implosion. Yeah, I'll have to give more thoughts and see what decks come up with it as well. Co-Razor, next card. As a battle cry, if your hand is empty, gain +3/+3. This card is asking for aggro. That actually not necessarily. Yeah, this guy is asking for aggro. It's a 4 mana 7/7 if you're playing Face Hunter. That does not hold back. So just all aggro and owl, like single owl. You're really waiting for this to be top decked. I'm gonna be honest, like even with the face, yeah, 4/4 mana isn't really the best. Then, yeah, again, it's one of the cards that is weak early game and strong late game. Then if you're empty, if your hand is empty, you play 4-drop and you hero power, it's a 7/7, but you just don't do anything after. Weak to Big Game Hunter. I actually haven't seen that many cards that are weak versus Big Game Hunter yet, except for there's another cards coming up that's pretty weak versus Big Game Hunter. But Flame Big Game Hunter might, if the Big Game Hunter is popular, I guess this card is kind of still crap. Quarter Razor. Yeah, I don't know if this card is gonna be too useful. Although it has a beast synergy, so like you can think of it as a late game just in case card. Yeah, it's a 7/7, and you can come away with kill command as well. And with the face decks, sometimes you have hard time getting beast, although you do have 2 kill commands in your hand. Next card is a Dragon Consort. It is a battle cry. The next dragon you play costs 2 less. I don't know if this... Yeah, this should cost... Wow. That's interesting. The next dragon you play costs 2 less. 5/4/5/5. So 5/4/5/5 usually gives something extra, but then giving 2 less. I like this card. Again, another card that it's a weak just right now this turn, but then, or early game, relatively speaking, on turn 5, but then it's much better for late games. This card, I don't see it being too useful with a Twilight Drake, unless you have other draw source power, which paladins do like. What other dragons out there? Like Dragon Egg? I mean, those are the weak dragons. Hungry Dragon, I guess, can be one. I can see it being useful, actually. Yeah, some I can see it being useful. In fact, there's gonna be like mid-range dragon aggro deck coming out with the other dragon cards out there. There's gotta be, yeah. And I will have to. I just have to see all these cards synergy all together. I'm excited, but I don't know how strong it will be. 5 4 5 5 is very big. It should be like 5 7 for 5 mana, right? Or 4 6 actually. No, that 5 7 is way too strong. 5 6 for 5 mana. Then for 1 extra health, instead you give 2 extra mana cost on next whenever if you're playing Druid deck. I mean, Dragon deck. But then your deck has to be heavy enough that you'll be able to play them after turn 5 and still have a good hand. So it's gonna be mid range. It's not gonna be aggro. It's not. It could be control-y. But in control decks, you probably want the 5-drop as a defensive card or 6 drops to be defensive cards. This could be a good substitute for Lothab actually. But then I think you have a Lothab more as like the anti-counter decks, because decks are good against paladins we usually have a lot of spells, like for example a rogue. So next card, Dragon Egg. Whenever this minion takes a damage, summon a 2/1 Whelp. Is that a card, or is that just a token that comes up? It's a yeah, it's a card. It's a 1-drop 0/2. I really don't like this card, Dragon Egg. Whenever this minion takes a mint damage, summon a 2/1 Whelp. Again, another card that looks pretty good for Control Warrior-ish card. It's like yeah, because you can just use it with the Taskmaster. You get 2 2/1s, and then you get another 2/1 at the end. So that's like 3 2/1s for 2 cards, 3 mana. That's not bad. And I don't know if this is silence worthy, so likely people will just let 2/1 happen. I wonder, yeah, I'm so excited for mid-range Warlock deck. I predicted that the aggro mech decks will be pretty useful when the GVG came out. I didn't think it would be a particularly Mage. I thought it would be more like a Warlock or... yeah, I thought they'll be... Did I consider... I actually don't remember exactly. I definitely thought about Warlock. And then second one I thought about, I think it was Mage, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, I'm betting my bet on mid-range Warlock to rise to some point. Oh man. So next card is a Revenge. If deal 1 damage to all minions, there we go. It's a warrior card. If you have 12 or less health, did 3 damage instead. So it's good to all minions. Well, it's like Whirlwind for 2 mana. And if you're low in health, it deals 3 damage instead. Is that good? 3 damage instead. Is that good? It's a good clearing minion. Actually, yeah, I like this card. It's a really good substitute for Whirlwind. You can just have one, and on early game or mid, like if you're ahead, for example, or mid game, early game, you can use it as basically Whirlwind. But it costs 1 extra mana, just got a bit. But then, if you are kind of in danger, you probably want the board clears. 3 damage AoE for 2 mana is really, really great. It looks amazing, but I don't think you can fit 2 in this deck. Even Whirlwind you only play a 1, although it has great usage. So since a Whirlwind you only play 1, and you can still combo it with the cards like Cloud of Pain. You can still combo with the cards like the Grommash and finish them off with. Although you can't do Grommash, Whirlwind, and Execute, which was a thing, which is a really good combo. Just kill Taunt or something strong, and the Revenge also is not going to be so amazing versus Henlocks. I like this. Yeah, I think I'll definitely have one instead of my current Whirlwind. But again, not so amazing early game. It's like a Whirlwind is really good against Hunters or Mages. Early on, you just Whirlwind and Taskmaster kill something, but it's cost 4 mana instead of 3. That's quite a bit more. We'll have to see how big the difference for 1 mana is. But I really like this card at the moment. Next card, Flamewalker. Waker. It's a Flame Waker. Yes, Waker. After you cast a spell, the 2 damage randomly split among all enemies. I don't know how to rate this card. You have to, like, 3 damage, 2/4 is a crap. You have to do at least 3 damage and a spell. 3 mana and a spell. I guess you can use it on, like, mid-range cards, but then again, one of the cards that sucks at 3-drop as a 3-drop, but then it's pretty good, I guess. Do you want to play this on turn 5, turn 6 with a spell? A Flamewalker, Waker, and like Frostbolt, or Arcane Intellect. 4/4 for 3 mana is not the best. Oh, all right, it is one of the best thing out there. It's like Think Down Technician, right? But then it's whenever you play after you cast a spell. So it's like Pyromancer. It's a lot more expensive than Pyromancer. It doesn't do damage to your minions, but 2 damage randomly split among all enemies. This card does not look great against the other cards out there, like Green Patron, Druid of Flame. There are a lot of beefy cards that came out so far, such as Druid of Flame and Blackwing Technician. It sucks against the Imp Gang Boss. It's really bad against what we've seen so far. Against the Dragon Egg. But it may find its use in aggro decks, in aggro mech deck somehow, or something similar to it. Otherwise, I don't see it being too useful at all. No. It's like, oh, you have Arcane Intellect instead of some current cards out there in tempo Mage deck. Maybe it's find a place. Not too fan of Flamewalker right now. Waker, not Walker. Yeah, 4/4 for 3 mana. It's because if you play a spell, that is. If you can't play a spell, then it's a 2/4 for 3 mana. That's it. It sucks. But if the coin even considered as a spell, right? So the coin is, but then you can't coin this out. You have to play this and coin out something. So you can't quite use it along with the... Yeah, you can't quite combo it earlier, and I can't really think of. You can't even use it with Mana Worm, right? So I like the theme. It definitely suits the theme, but I'm not too fan of it yet. But it will be definitely one of the better 3-drops for aggro deck, I think. If you, especially with the Electron, like it's gonna stick. 4 health is gonna stick for a little bit, and then it's up to you. It's up to. But the mech mages don't have that many spells. Well, actually, you know what? It does. It has spare parts. So yeah, it's gonna be a really good card mid game, I guess. It's a substitute. You can deal quite a few damage with all spare parts. Yeah, I can think of pretty good Waker. God, I keep saying Waker use in Tempo Mage. So yeah, this another cards that puts strong points on mid range decks instead of late game control or early game. What the heck? Hungry Dragon. Oh, finally comes down to this. Hungry Dragon was revealed a lot earlier when I'm finally revealing it. Summon on random 1-cost minion for your opponent. A lot of 1-cost minions are better than 1/1. So you can think of it as a 4-drop 5/6 that summons 2/1 or a 1/2 on your opponent's side. Yeah, it's in average. I think in average it's about 2/1. There are quite a chance you get 1/1. There's quite a good chance you get cards like Web Spinner, Leperno, Mana Worm. There are a lot of good 1-drops out there. So I would say if you summon an average or random 1-cost minion, it's in average it's gonna be 2/1 value wise. It's like, yeah. So is the 5/6 worth giving your opponent 2/1? Because after you trade it, you get 5/4. If you trade, that is. If you don't have other cards out there, it's not gonna be the best cards. So It suits for... Actually, this card can be really nice for aggro decks. I don't know how to value this card right now. This card really depends on the meta. Like, you want to have a minion when you play this card to clear whatever 2/1 he gets, or 1/1, 1/3, 1/2, whatever 2/2 he gets. Or maybe just ignore it and go face still. It's an extra body that your opponent can use you can use for unleash on your opponent's side deck. 5/6. Yeah, it's gonna be really overpowered aggro decks, for aggro decks, I think. But then against anything else, I'm not so sure. Next card is a Fireguard Destroyer. Gain 1/4 attack. Battle Cry. What the heck, mate? Overload 1. So it's whoa. Huh. Wow, this card is amazing. It's a 4/6 for 4 mana. Minimum, that's better than much better than Yeti already. Or yeah, and I would say this card is better than Shredder for 4/6. And had potential to become 7/6. So aggro mid-range shaman finally become a thing, or aggro shaman that does not all in your opponent. Mid-range shaman always select the mid-range cards because you have to go cards like Harvest Golem or Argus for a forge drop, but then you don't even need Argus. You can just have this instead. And it fits the theme with the Lava Shock. I really like this card. I think this card is gonna be amazing. Everyone's gonna be using this card, I think. 4/6, or in average 5/6, 4/5, 4 mana, no drawback. It's like Hunger Dragon, but it doesn't summon your... Yeah, it's a Hunger Dragon that does not summon 1-cost minion for your opponent. What the heck? Well, although the overload, yes, but then actually, you know what? I'll go over the Lava Shock. And next card is Volcanic Drake. Cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Go for a zoo. Oh, mid-range Warlock again! Holy crap! Actually, yeah, this card can cost you like 3 or 2. Because if you play Zoo deck, you're gonna lose a lot of cards, and it fits the theme with the Imp Boss, Imp Gang Boss, I think was it called? Yes. Huh. But against anything else, is there any other swarmy aggro decks out there that you want to use a dragon on? So Volcanic Drake and the Blackwing Technician, 3/5 for 3 mana. God, the mid-range or aggro-ish mid-range card decks are so gonna be so amazing, I think. Volcanic Drake, but you have to have at least 2 minions died this turn, and it's on your turn. And as a zoo, you lose 1 to 2 cards in average. Holy crap. But then again, do you want the 4-drop 6/4? And on aggro deck, sure. Because even if the warrior kills it with death by, it still deals 4 damage. I mean 6 damage instead of 4 or 5. Only strong mid game. So not the best combo with things like Doomguard or Soulfire. Not that Soulfire is useful. Oh well, next card is Blackwing Corruptor. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage. It's a fire elemental, but it costs 5 mana, 5/4, instead of fire elemental 6/5 for 6 mana. That's an amazing card. Fire elemental is used too in pretty much every single deck out there. And you just need to hold on to dragon, that's the thing, though. And it's... You know what? I'm overwhelmed by the amount of the aggro cards right now that I will have to reevaluate the old decks out there to see how good this particular one is. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage. So this card seems amazing if you can get the Battle Cry. And there are quite a few dragon cards out there you can hold on to. Like Volcanic Drake, you're going to hold on to it. Twilight Drake, you will probably have it, but is Twilight Drake that amazing mid-range cards? Twilight, yeah, it is. It's not bad. And there are cards like Dark Node Crusher, which I'll go over in a second. Yeah, if you can get it off, it's gonna be amazing. But can you get it off? Hungry Dragon. 2 Hungry Dragons, 2 Twilight Drakes, 2 Volcanic Drakes, Naxxramas maybe, so it's gonna be mid-range-ish. If you're a Paladin, you can have Dragon Conquest actually on this. Is that enough? 8 Dragon cards? I think 80 is definitely a splitting point where you want to hold a card or two for a combo. But I don't know how useful Twilight Drake is. Yeah, 8 cards are definitely enough. Like if you have 8 cards in the deck, you're gonna hold on to it by turn 5, in average. Holy crap! Yeah, I'm too overwhelmed right now to evaluate a single card right now. I'll just go over it, but I don't know. And I can predict where it's going to be used, but I don't know how strong those will be. Because the initial card reveal was not so... It was pretty disappointing when I went over them, and that's why I didn't review cards, but now with the final revealed cards, wow. And next card is Draconode Crusher. Battlecry, if your opponent has 15 or less health, gain +3/+3. So it's going to be 9/9 for 6 mana. But your opponent has to be 15 or less health. So it's another card that you're going to be just holding on to. Just probably single one instead of 2 because it's 2 not so great. 6 drop for 6/6 otherwise. But it's okay to play as a 6 drop 6/6. It's actually okay card. Although it's not... It's one of the worst cards, but like if it comes down to it, it's like, oh my god, I don't have any cards and I'll just play it. I can see VK Hunter being pretty useful for control decks now. There's so many cards that has 7 attack or more. Even Fireguard Destroyer possibly has 7 attack. Oh my god. Dragonskin Sorcerer is next one. Oh, I totally forgot about this. Whenever you target this minion with a spell, gain +1/+1. When I saw this card and I thought I thought about the mech deck and mage deck and other sport part using decks out there, I thought it's not the best card out there. But then, yeah, like how often you're gonna get to target the minion. Even spare parts, you only get it half the time or even less. Like you need it on things like the swap switch and +1 attack, +1 health. Those 3 are about it. 3, it's it. The ones you want to use. You don't want to freeze this, you don't want to return this. But there's not going to be enough spare part related cards if you use the dragon deck. I don't know if you can combine a mech deck and dragon deck together. That will be actually pretty useful if you can make it work. But as of now, I can't really think of a way to utilize more spare parts, or they generate enough spare parts to use this. But then without spare parts, there are not that many spells you can combo this with. So that's why I thought this card is crap. But then I guess it's one of the 4-drop 3/5 that's okay 4-drop. You can hold on to it and maybe combo it with cards like the Blackwing Corruptor, not Volcanic Drake. Where's the other card? The Blackwing Technician. It's another 2 sets that you can kind of have it. It's not the worst card. It's gonna be, if you put it in, it's gonna be one of the cards that you put in just for synergy, not because of this card is particularly amazing. It's like the Spider Tank. If you look at it, that 3-drop 3/4 is not the most amazing out there, although it is one of the better one. Unlike 3/4, yeah, I can't really compare that. Because 3/4 is pretty good for 3-drop, whereas 3/5 for 4 mana is pretty terrible. As far as constructed use goes. So Hunter, quick shot, deal 3 damage. If your hand is empty, draw a card. I also haven't gone over wing rewards, so I'll get to that after class challenge rewards. Quick shot, deal 3 damage. If your hand is empty, draw a card. Another card, so you want to empty your hand. 2 mana, 3 damage. Not the best. Not a fan of it. It's so cheap. Maybe you can have the deck where you absolutely hold no cards, like no Owl, no Hunter's Mark, no Draw, no... it's gonna be so aggro. Like 100% yellow. Right now I would say like the Rush Hunter decks out there is like 90% yellow. Although we call it, oh my gosh, so yellow, but then this card is like, even think about the cards like the Arcane Golem. You don't want to use it on turn 3 because it's going to give your opponent insane opportunity, or insane the mana cost value, insane advantage. So you want to hold on to those cards and you want to burst them down. That's how, although you can just continuously just charge their face if you draw right cards. Do you really want to empty your hands so you have I don't know if I like this theme of empty your hand, draw a card, or empty your hands, get +3/+3. I can't really think of the single deck right now that fits these 2 cards in particularly, although you can make the deck. I guess you can have all cheaper cards. Remove the Arcane Golem, have another 1-drop. Remove, like, yes, I can do it. I can do it. But that's so YOLO. It's gonna be a strong deck, actually. But you don't want to have 2 of them together. Like, you don't want to hold. It's like Soulfire. Think about it. You don't want to have this quick shot, and you don't want to have 2 quick shots, because 2 mana, 3 damage is kind of bad for aggro hunter, right? And you don't want to have 2 of the what was that card? Core Rager. So it's like Doomguard and Soulfire. You can have 4 in your deck, but at least Warlock has draw power. These guys don't. So and they're gonna like it's like it's as good as they're discarding each other, because if you just use one, without the effect, so bad. I wouldn't say 3 damage too bad is so bad. It's relatively bad, because in 4 charges you typically want the either body and the damage equal to mana, or just twice as much damage of the mana. So Kill Command does 5 damage for 3 mana, kind of times 2. It's like the Abusive Surgeon does like 2 damage for 1 mana. The Leper Gnome up to 4 damage, 2 mana. Yeah, it's like that. Mage, Dragon's Breath, deal 4 damage, cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Not a fan of it. It costs so much. 5 mana. Holy crap. So you have to kill like 4 minions this turn to... No, 3 minions to make it work. And an aggro deck, can they kill 3 damage? I can actually see it being useful in Freeze Mage, if that become a thing again. Because in Freeze Mage, you kill... Like, the Doomsayer kills everything at the start of your turn. So this card is practically free with a Freeze Mage, right? But then you don't want to use them on... You want to wait until Alexstrasza turn, so this is why this card is kind of awkward. Unless you can and usually when after you Alexstrasza your opponent's face, it's hard to freeze the board and trying to like burst your and clear the board and then burst your opponent. Unless it's like fatigue combo. I can see that kind. No, it's so awkward. There are Frostbolts, there are Flame Cannon, there are Fireballs. This card has to be played for 3 mana. And 3 mana burn, 2 mana burn, 4 mana burn. That's a little too much. I think you want minions. It's gonna be good for 3 mana, obviously. Or is it even? 3 mana, 4 damage. You probably want 2 mana, 4 damage, so you have to kill 3. Like Frostbolt, it deals 3 damage, but then you can also come up with the Ice Lance, and it freezes something, so it's more useful than Dragon's Breath. So you want to play this for 2 mana. Can you kill 3 minions on your turn as mage, or I guess the dragon, like, if alright, if you make a mid-range deck, mid-range decks kind of tends to trade a lot, so you're gonna be killing like 2 minions easily. If you say you play Hungry Dragon and you kill the Belcher with the Hungry Dragon, you kill off the 1/1 and you kill off the 1/2 that came out, so that's like 3 minion right there. But then the situation yeah, it actually combos really well with the Hungry Dragon, because you summon the 1 extra 1 drop. Cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. It's so awkward. I think I might have one in the deck, in an aggro-ish deck. Flinger is next card. Whenever this takes minion damage, whenever this minion takes damage, deal 2 damage to enemy hero. It's another mid-range warrior card that deals damage to the face-ins directly instead of dealing damage instead of having good board. So there are so many cards right now that combos so well with the AoE damage, such as Green Patron, Flinger. I want to see this deck in action, because a lot of mid-range decks or aggro decks relies on having good body early on and burn spells mid-game, but then is Flinger enough burn spells? You can easily deal 4 damage with the Flinger. Like, just summon it, Deathbite, kill something, and it's gonna be attacked and kill something again. And also it's mid-range. Also it's a freeze mage killer. I'd like to see a mid-range warrior deck with the Flinger, Green Patron, Juggernaut, and etc. I want to see. I so want to play that deck. Next card is Lava Shock, deal 2 damage. Unlock all your overloaded mana cards, mana crystals. So overloaded cards right now is not the amazing card. Like, you typically just run 3 to 4, like 2. All right, 2 lightning storms and like 1 lava shot. Wait, no. Neptulon, 2 lightning storms, 1 crackle. So that's 4 cards. I think that's about it right now. And since a lot of people will probably play the Fireguard Destroyer for 4 drop, there'll be 6 cards. That's barely enough for this Lava Shock. And right now, Shaman cards are filled with the conditional removals. I don't know if you can just have Lava Shock right now. There is a place, definitely. Like, the Crackle can be replaced with pretty much any other removals out there. You can have a Lava Burst, you can have a Lightning Bolt, 1 Lightning Bolt, or something like that. Just any kind of... It's iffy cards you can... It's a flexible zone. It's not specifically that card in mid-range Shaman deck right now these days. It's 1 or 2 cards out there you can just kind of fit in whatever you want in, and it's kind of counter whatever you want to counter. So you could just fit this in there and throw down extra 1 or 2 overloaded cards. I wasn't too impressed with the Lava Shock when I saw it by itself, but then with a new Shaman card, or is that the Fireguard Destroyer, this makes a lot more sense now. A little more sense. So it will be more likely 1 mana 2 damage. That does not have overload, which makes more sense. But then it's only late game, not early game. So it's like Crackle can be. No, you don't want to use Crackle, but the Lightning Bolt is really useful early game, or can be. But whereas the Lava Shock cannot be. Depends on it. It's good killing. It's good killing. Knife Jugglers, I guess. Next card, Volcanic Lumberer, Taunt. Costs 1 less for each minion that died this turn. Again, I don't like this team, but it's so good. It's pretty good for mid-range cards, because they trade a lot. 7/8 for 9 mana. So you want to trade. It's Taunt 7/8, 9 mana, and there is already cards Armbark Protector 8/8 for 8 mana Taunt. So this card has to cost 7 or less. So you have to kill 2 minions, which is not that difficult. But is it gonna really replace the Ancient War? It's a 5/10. And even Ancient War, people don't use it that often, and like a lot of people I think the BlackRock Mountain will introduce cards that are good enough. There are other cards. You probably won BKM Hunter even against aggro deck sometimes, right? With the new cards out so far. So Volcanic Lumberer just looks terrible at the moment, but if maybe you can play this for like 6 mana, then it's amazing. Even if it gets, there's a chance it gets BKM 100. If you have so many, if you have two, and not many people run two BKM 100s, at least for now. And I don't think there are enough cards introduced to run two BKM 100s. Actually, maybe it's in, I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'll have to see it in action. Twilight Whelp is next card. It's 2/1 priest card for 1 mana. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, gain +2 health. It's a 2/3 for 1 mana. Oh, it's like Zombie Chow without drawback. Although Zombie Chow, you can combo it with the Soul Priest and deal 10 damage to face if you have to. But people don't use that often anymore. I like this. I really like this. It's a Zombie Chow that does not have drawback, so you can even more. So one of the problems Death Rattle Priest have is it's kind of mid-range-ish, but then you heal your opponent with a Zombie Chows. It has amazing early game, but then, like I said, it heals your opponent. So you have a hard time finishing your opponent, although it's a mid-range deck. This card is going to help out on that. Although, yeah, I can see them pushing for that theme, at least. But then, as a priest, are you going to be holding on to that many cards? And is the 2/3 the late game for one drop is useful that much? If you're not holding a dragon early game, you want to play this early game when it pops out, when you have 3 or 4 cards. What are the chances of holding it to dragon? Is the thing with the Twilight Whelp. I'm not sure. The Zombie Chow is a good by itself. You don't need to hold any cards, but the Twilight Whelp, you have to holding onto other dragon. So you want to have like 10 dragon cards with this card. Although you're by itself, it's dragon. So if you have 2 of them, it's like, yeah, you want to have like 9 cards. I listed 8, so we'll see how useful that become. Yeah, I listed 8. So even yeah, I listed 8. If you have 2 of the Twilight Wolves, I guess that's 9, because it's other dragon you have to hold on to when it comes down. We'll see. Next card is a Dark Iron Skulker. A lot of people will say really good stuff about this. Battlecry deal 2 damage to all undamaged enemy minions. And as of now, as of current meta, a lot of rogues will not really attack until you can kill them off. So this card is definitely one of the cards you can fully utilize that current theme of the rogue, where you don't really attack into minions until you can kill it, or you just wait until you have all removal. Question is a 4/3 5 mana Battlecry to deal 2 damage, is it worth it right now? Well, the meta is gonna be different, so I shouldn't be asking the question, but is it worth it? Because a lot of our cards for like 4/3 is 3 mana. So is the deal 2 damage to all undamaged minion worth 2 mana for rogue? That's not even a combo, because it's not a backstab. I think you can have 1 card in the deck. The rogue has been weak versus aggro decks, so it's somewhat entire aggro deck, because yeah, it's a somewhat entire aggro deck. It's another AoE you can fit in, but for 5 mana. I think you can have 1 in the deck, definitely not 2. That's too heavy, not still for combo. Next card is Demonwrath. It's a 3 mana Warlock card. Deal 2 damage to all non-demon minions. Non-demon minions. But you want to deal damage to the Imp Gang Boss. Is there enough demon cards out there right now? Right now, even there is not enough demon cards right now to play this card. Even with Imp Gang Boss, you can't make the only demon card work at the moment. I don't think I've seen enough demons. Let me just quickly check if I've seen any other demons besides Imp Gang Boss. Yeah, I don't think there's enough demon cards to fully utilize this. Maybe I'll just have one cards. Even the health, like the Hellfire vastly outvalues this, I think. But then it can be used. It's anti-aggro deck, so I guess since the demon decks are slow and possibly weak to aggro, or is it? Because there are all right. There are demon decks out there, and a lot of the demon decks that the extra cards you will use along with the demon cards, demon decks, has more than 2 health, so such as like Argus and Sophia Protector. This card is playable, definitely. I just don't know if you want to play it. 3 damage, 2 mana. Against aggro, yeah, it's a really good card. It's an amazing card, actually. But is it good against control? Not really. Deal 2 damage for 3 mana is useless. It's one of the iffy cards, I think, because I think that there are enough AoEs out there. Even without this, like Shadow Flame vastly outvalued this mid-late game. Early game, this card vastly outvalues actually other two. So maybe 1 Hellfire, 1 Shadow Flame, 1 Demonwrath on Demon deck, possibly, yeah. Well, there's a reason that the Demon decks right now uses the double Power Overwhelmings and like the double Abusive Surgeon to combo with the Shadow Flame. With this deck, you don't really need it, although it's much weaker. Oh man, last class challenge card is the Solemn Vigil. It's 5-drop, draw 2 cards, cost 1 less for each minion that died this turn. What the heck, another mid-range cards. Draw 2 cards, cost 1 less. Wow, you have to kill 4 minions with this, but then it's really easy as a pot-in if you have the dudes, 3 dudes, play Mustard and then... Yeah, play Mustard and you get 3 dudes and you'll probably get something else, so... Solemn Vigil. But can you do that consistently? I mean, you're not going to be using this consistently. It's one of the cards you can just play it in. Actually, you know what? This is more like aggro cards. It's not really mid-range cards. Because aggro cards, aggro paladin decks right now, it's cards are so swarmy. It's amazing. It just doesn't have enough draws, but then you can just... This card might be just enough to fill that last couple slots instead of second Divine Favor. Cool. Alright, the boss cards, Wing Rewards. Emperor Thaurissan. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. What? Whoa. Wait, is that card you can play? There has to be. Emperor Thaurissan. At the end of your turn, reduce the cost of the cards in your hand by 1. Another card that's... Like, you just need... So, alright, 5/5 as a legend, you probably want it to be at least 4 mana worth. But that also means you just need to be holding onto 2 cards into your hand to make this card worth. Oh my god. That's insane. It's every card, right? It's not just spells or minions. It's just every card. Reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1. Oh my god. Like, right now, so many people play just Sylvanus in the 6-drop. And I don't think that's enough. Like, single 6-drop, I don't think it's enough. But so often what people do is just play a 4-drop in Hero Power. I think this is just great card to fill that second 6-drop spot next to Sylvanus. And I'm really excited to see the battle between aggro decks that, yeah, there are cards there are a lot of cards right now revealed that benefit you later into the game. But then there are also a lot of aggro cards, so they're pushing both at the same time. I like this theme. I'm really excited to see the battle between aggro and control. See where people bring it. Although it's not really necessarily control, since a lot of cards we've seen greatly benefit also mid-range. So it's like mid-range control-y, mid-range late game. Whew. And Metrodo Executus. Death Rattle. It's 9-drop. 9/7 Death Rattle, replace your hero with the Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. I actually did not see this card in action. Does it make your health 8 as well? I've seen the hero power you get. Your hero power becomes 2 mana. It deals 8 damage to random minion for 2 mana. And you don't need it's unbecame harmable. And in fact, if your opponent became hunter, your opponent's screwed. So that's amazing hero power. To think about it. Oh, it does make your health 8. Okay, then it's I don't know if I like that. That's a little too less health. Oh my god. That's so little. Like what? You can't. That's so yellow. Like if you play this card and your opponent became hunters and kill you. Because you only have 8 health. Oh my god. That's so yellow. That's so YOLO. Wow, you play this card as like, I don't know, man. I'm so lost. And you can't play this card, kill it, and play Ragnaros, the hero power. You can only hero power once a turn. So wow. I don't know if people are gonna use that. I thought they might bring your health down to like 10 or something, I don't know. Next card is Rend Blackhand. This is a card that's revealed earlier, and a lot of people cried about this game. Battlecry, if you're holding it to Dragon, destroy a legendary minion. It's a 7-drop. 7-drop neutral cards. 8/4. 8/4. That's like 5 mana. So, no, that's not. Do you want 5 mana 8/4? First of all, I mean, sure, it's like the Fugen and Stalag. Then no one plays that card, except like 5 people in the world, in competitive world. If you're holding a Dragon Destroyer legendary minion, and your opponent has to play a legendary minion, is there enough legendary cards out there? Do you really want to hold on to this card until turn 15 to see if you can kill a legendary? Is there enough removals out there to make this card less worth? It's getting to the point where you just barely don't have enough removals for all the classes. A lot of classes, including Warrior, because of think about Warrior. I think the Warrior just need 1 or 2 extra removals, just like literally just 1, not even 2. Like 1 is enough. And this card filling that spot up. You don't want to kill this. You don't want to kill Sylvanas. You want to kill. There are so many cards actually. There are so many cards out there you don't want to particularly kill, or not as beneficial. Because Sylvanas, Tyrion, Antonides is good, but then Toshalis, I guess it's not as good, although it's not so often used. Lilfab actually you can kill this with Lilfab and it'll be definitely worth. Harrison Jones, not really. You probably just want to swipe it or kill it with the weapon. There are other removals. It's more you want to kill something that costs more than 4 or 5 body, I think, with this, if you play it. And conditions, you have to hold on to a dragon first of all. So. And a lot of dragon cards out there that are revealed that are mid-range decks. It fits in mid-range decks. I don't know how to evaluate this card, man. It doesn't look so great at first, but then because there are people will be definitely using Emperor's Thaurissan, MaSsan, let's call it. MaSsan. Emperor MaSsan. Right there, because people are going to be using Emperor MaSsan and some of the other cards that actually does not give immediate benefit or the great death rattle with the legends. Maybe you can use this card. Because yeah, like I said, it's getting to the point where you just need like 1 or 2 removals, and then you're amazing. Because you can't, like, it's a single big game hunter. Think about it, against demon deck. All right, there's a Boomerino you kill with a deck the big game hunter, but then there usually is another one that you can't really kill it. You have to kill it with the other removals, like Ragnaros. Think about it. Big game hunter. Wait, the Dr. Boomer, into Ragnaros, or Malganese, or the Mountain Giants out there. Although I don't know if Endlock's gonna be a thing due to all the mid-range aggro. So with the legendaries that are introduced until now, before BlackRock Mountain, the Rend Blackhand is crappiest card ever that you can think of. But with the new introduction of the legendaries, with the new legendaries introduced, I think this card actually can find its place somewhere. I may actually use it on like Warrior deck and try it out. I don't know if I'm going to be using it in anything else though. Like mid-range Warrior, I will try it. Next card, second last card. Be excited! It's Chromaggus. Wait, Chromaggus is this card. Whenever you draw a card, put another copy into your hand. It's 8 mana. Put another copy into your hand whenever you draw a card. So you have to have a draw card on board when you play this. You want to, and run into it. It's just a Cloud of Fate. It's another card that's gonna be pretty good with the Warrior, especially Warriors tends to have a lot of heavy cards, and oh man, and like all the cards in the Warrior deck is super valuable. Maybe you can have a Mana Titan when you play this as a Shaman. I don't know, that's not going to be happening too often. I don't know if there's a 2-mana draw card. No, I can't really think of. Maybe you can... Oh, man. Can you use this card with the Rogue? Maybe. And Rogues can draw a lot of cards. And all the rogue cards are so scary. This card is so scary, but itself is so weak. It's 6/8, and you need to wait a turn possibly. So it'll be like I think it's like Malygos, but more useful. You can use it more often. It's like, think about Malygos. It's an amazing card, but it's one of the only heavy drops that out there does not give you immediate benefit, and hence it's not used much, because if you're playing 8 or 9 drops, you really need that immediate benefit or something amazing to drawback, or it will stick around. Yeah, I mean, there are people who used Malygos in the past, so, and one of the scariest decks out there were Malygos Rogue at some point. People hit rank ones with it in all 3 servers with it. But you can't really draw, yeah, you can't really draw unless Warrior, seriously, and you have Alcala Pain on board. Yeah, it will be like a Malygos. I think it's only used in a couple decks. Those decks might be really strong, may not be. And the last but not least, we have Nefarian. Battle Cry, add 2 random spells to your hand from your opponent class. I don't know what to say about this. There are so many bad class cards out there right now. Like, do you really want to get a Blast Mage when you're playing wait, not the Blast Mage. Mind Blast when you're playing this? Do you really want to get... There's so many cards out there that you don't want to just get. It's so bad. But then there are so many good cards. Like, in average, you're going to get like 1 and a third of the good cards. So is that worth the 9 drop? That's 8/8. I don't know. I think it's one of the... Yeah, me personally don't think so, but we'll see. It also gets to become 100 so easily. Totemic Might! Fireball, Flame Strike, Polymorph is good against mages, yes, but like, do you want to get a Bouncing Blade against this? Oh wait, actually, Yeah, do you want to get Bouncing Blade when you're playing? I don't know. Where does that even fit? It... Do you want to get Tostiel with this against the priest? Yeah, there are so many cards, so many class cards that you just don't want to get. Like, you don't want the dude, you don't want the mustard. You don't want mustard against the pod, dude. You don't want the Blessing Wisdom, I guess. It can be useful, but it's just so good. Like, there's so many spells that you just don't want to get. A third of, I always talk about this, but a third of cards out there are so bad. About a third of cards you just want to, like, disenchant most of the time. I talk about it in Disenchant Guys on YouTube, or I tell people about, yeah, so about a third of cards is going to be, a third of the spells is going to be useless. So, times 2, so 2/3 of cards. No, the 4/3 of the card of the actual useful spells you're going to get. I don't think it's worth it, man. It's 8/8. It's a Sea Giant that's going to grab you 1 1/3 of the spell. Random spells that are okay or good. And Sea Giant cost 4 mana or 3 in constructed. I swear. So you're paying 5 mana to get a 1 1/3 card. Spells that are, like, okay or usable. Well, third of the time. It's 2/3 good, 2/3 okay spells. Random spells from your opponent, not even your class. It'll be certainly a fun card to play. I think you will like that thing. That's my word on it.